Welcome to Before Floor, the pregame edition of Five on the Floor, brought to you by the Five Regions Sports Network. I'm your host, Jonathan, aka Three Piece Combo. I'm joined by Mr. Getty Cartagena and Mr. Marco Romo. How you guys doing today?
Another day to watch Heat basketball. Ooh.
Awesome, but
interpret
as
that
always,
as you please.
We're coming to you live, so if you guys are driving home, make sure you guys get home safe. And if you guys are home watching us live, make sure you guys like the video. Make sure you guys subscribe for all your Miami Heat content, as well as all the other South Florida sports that we cover, and MMA content. I have an interview coming up as well in a little bit, so you'll see that too coming as well. As always, though, we want to make sure that we shout out our primary sponsor here at the pregame show, which is Mr. Mark Brown, PA. So go to his website, go to markbrownpa.com. That's marcbrownpa.com. He'll take care of all your financial assets if something does happen to you. Make sure, like I said, if you don't have no clue what I'm talking about, make sure you hit him up. He'll take care of all your foreclosures. If anything happens to you, like I said, as far as life, making sure all your assets go to the right people. Give him a call, 954-866-8513. Based out of North Lauderdale, services the entire South Florida area. So there's a couple of numbers. You can give him a call, 954-566-5678. That's one of the numbers you can give him a call. Or visit him at markbrownpa.com. Support him because he's a Heat fan. We give our business to Heat fans, not Lakers fans or Knicks fans or any of those types of players. Now, if you guys always know, we play our prize picks every single day. So you want to go to prize picks, use that promo code 5, spell it out FIVE, as it's so beautifully put on the screen by Alejandro. And make sure that you guys use that promo code. You will double your deposit up to $100. We do your rapid fire prize picks every single pregame show. You guys know it by now, and we hit on at least 80% of those picks. It's very rare that we actually get one of them wrong. We do a pretty good job. I think Marco only has one loss on his record from being all season. That's 2 losses going into halfway in the year. So if you just bet Marco Romo bets, you're winning major money. Make sure you maximize your money. Use that promo code 5. Guys, we are playing the pretty hot Oklahoma City Thunder, who have won 3 out of their last 4 games, and that includes a score of 150 points versus the Boston Celtics, and then scoring 120 twice, having those wins against one of those wins being against Dallas, who is also a very hot team. So let's get to the Thunder before we take a look at Miami, Marco. Like I said, they've won 3 of the last 4, and 2 of those being Boston and Dallas. How have they gotten on this roll recently? Like, what have they been doing right?
They've leaned into just be the fast, young, athletic team and out athletic and young everybody else, just kind of run everybody off the floor. Sometimes that doesn't work out. You can look at the Hornets as the other side of that spectrum. But also sometimes it can work out, especially during the regular season, whenever a lot of these teams don't want to do that every night. The Thunder have the horses to do that every night. Their oldest player, I think, is still Mike Muscala, who's barely 30. So honestly, it is a lot of just kind of putting the youth out there and just letting them run wild, which I love, especially for a rebuilding team. I would have loved to see Chet out there, but the foot injury. But it's honestly just great to see an SGA just kind of run the team. Even when he's not out there, they're still beating teams up. I think they beat, who was it, the Bucks without him?
It was Boston, I think.
Yeah, with Boston.
Yep. That Boston game was without SGA.
So honestly, it's just and these teams don't get up for Oklahoma City like the rest of the league. They view them as another tanking team, but we're halfway through the season. They're not that kind of team. They're a middling to above middling, lottery team, which is way better than what they've been the past few years. It's an improvement. They have a lot of guys who've improved. Giddey is a guy I know. He's very polarizing, but I still believe in him. He's really young still, so there's still a lot of room for him to grow. There's still a lot for him to kind of touch the ceiling of what he's able to be. The white Iguodala, as a lot of people have pointed out. The defense won't be there for him yet, but I can still see him, being a serviceable, wing player in the future. And those are the kind of guys you want to look for to add to SGA, the Lou Dorts, but a little bit younger. So honestly, I think they just kind of run teams off the floor, just kind of fast paced. We're going to run you off the court with our offense. Our defense will be, it'll be good enough. They actually had a pretty decent defense the past month or so. So honestly, it's just try not to get into their game. Don't try to run with them at all. But Miami kind of has no choice tonight with the guys they have out there. At least Kyle Lowry isn't out there to, slow everything down. But on the flip side is he's not there to kind of muster up the other team, because how he plays with less than good players out there. He turns into prime Stephon Marbury, but without him tonight, it'll be Jimmy and the guys.
So I want to touch on a couple of things you said. The first thing, being that Oklahoma City is not a meddling team. Like, they're not a tanking team. They're only 2.5 games behind the Heat. Like, when you look at their record, they're literally just 2.5 games behind the Heat. So that's a team that's supposedly tanking versus a team that has championship aspirations. So you can't be
Who's
looking
lying?
down on. I'm sorry?
Who's lying there? Which two teams are lying?
Don't call me out. Hands up, don't shoot. Anyways, and then you also mentioned Josh Giddey and Lou Dort, right? Two of those guys, Gad, right? Obviously, SGA is the spearhead over the Oklahoma City Thunder, but Giddey over the last 2 weeks, about 18.5 points. And to Marco's point, Lou Dort over the last 2 weeks, 17.5 points. Versus Miami tonight, which one of the two do you think is more dangerous?
¿Por qué no los dos?
Okay, no?
Because no, literally, I think I'm worried genuinely about almost every single player that's going to touch the ball for Oklahoma City. Not that the Heat are throwing out some horrible defenders and whatnot, because I believe they still have Oladipo and Jimmy Butler, which is, I mean, that's some pretty damn good wing defense. But I just think the movement that the Thunder are going to have, and Marco kind of touched on that, the leaning into just being young and fast. Listen, Josh Giddey can speed up the game and play at his tempo. That is one thing that he is very, very good at. And he is good at getting his guys playing on his tempo as well. So I think Josh Giddey, in terms of orchestrating the offense, probably worries me a little bit more. But Lou Dort is one of those guys that if he's energized and he's locked in, which he is on most nights, there's a chance. I'm not saying there's a guarantee because he is quite a streaky player, but there's a chance that he is going to look like one of the NBA's best players on any given night. So on both ends of the floor. So both of them are like not super scary, but intimidating enough given the roster that we're putting out there today.
So let's get to a little bit of the ugly topic. Marco, you did mention this as well. So Kyle Lowry, right? He's obviously not playing tonight, but he has been playing absolutely awful lately, right? He has not given us what we thought we were going to get out of him, especially for what we're paying out of the contract. Last 2 weeks, 6 points per game. That's what he's giving us. So I don't think, me personally, I never really liked the Kyle Lowry signing, to be honest with you. But this signing has turned out to put Miami in a bad spot, and he's kind of not giving you anything. So I'll let you guys both weigh in on this. Marco, I'll let you start. Where does Kyle Lowry rank as far as bad signings in terms of the Heat?
Man, that's such a tough question because at the time, it was the right signing. Last year, it was the right signing. It's just that it evolved into not the right signing because the rest of the team evolved. So it's really just a matter of circumstance, which I guess is pretty much that goes for almost all free agent signings. But with Kyle, it's a little bit harder to swallow, especially considering how old he is. They kind of had to add that third year to add him. It's really tough. In the future, we're going to look back at it like that first season, he was great. And if they move him for somebody else this year or in the offseason for somebody that'll help him win a championship, then everybody will be like, it was worth it. But for now, it's really tough to kind of look at it as a good signing. It's very tough for me to even consider it because I only had 1.5 year of Kyle, and it's only been about 3/4 of a good year because, he was out a lot last year and he's been, very bad this year. I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. You can say he's been average. I'm just going to say he's been bad because anything else that he gave him last year is just not there anymore, or they just don't need it anymore. He's become redundant with the type of roster they have nowadays. So I'm really going to say it's been a meh signing, which I guess it might be a cop out. But yeah, I think that's where I'm going to land for it right now. But, it could change in next month or so.
Yeah, things could absolutely change. And I know Marco hit on a lot of points, Scad. Do you have anything else to add on that?
No, I just wanted to say I agree that Marco said it was the right signing at the time. I 100% agree with that. I believe that was the move that you had to make, and ultimately, they got to where they got to. Not strictly because of Kyle Lowry, because Jimmy Butler turned into prime LeBron James for a good 2.5 series or whatever. But Kyle Lowry definitely had his impact on the Heat season last year, and I think he had an impact on some of the development that the younger guys had going from the beginning of last year all the way until now. But like Marco said, they've kind of outgrown Kyle Lowry at this point, especially Tyler Hero and Bam Adebayo. It feels like he was here to maximize them, and now it almost feels like when he's on the floor, he's holding them back a little bit. And he's not maximizing the lineup between Jimmy, Bam, and Tyler, whereas someone I believe like Caleb is helping with that a little bit, specifically more so on the defensive end. So I think the thing with Kyle that I'm most worried about is he going to start, and is he going to have this large starting caliber role the entire year, because you can make a really good argument that Kyle Lowry as your sixth man can help elevate these bench lineups that have been so inconsistent for the Heat. Because if there's one thing he's shown you throughout his Heat tenure, it hasn't been that he's going to maximize Jimmy Bam Tyler. It's going to be that he's going to maximize guys 9 through 11, 9 through 13 on the roster. So I think given the circumstances, that's where I would kind of shift Kyle towards. Obviously, there's an ego thing, there's a money and value thing, but you kind of throw those things at the window at this point and just try to make the team the best that you can make it. So I think the question with Kyle moving forward is, okay, what role tweak can maximize him on this team? I think personally, it's either coming off the bench or staggering very early to kind of get to those bench lineups and see if he can work his magic there where it can be more ball dominant. Because we see as an off-ball guard, Kyle Lowry is really not adding much to this team.
Yeah, I really like the idea of him coming off the bench because obviously now we're getting Victor Oladipo, and that's been helping as of late, and he's kind of starting to get his legs. Miami was severely lacking that bench scoring because Tyler Hero was, pretty much sixth man of the year, and he was giving you all of the bench scoring last year. But now that he's starting, okay, who was going to be the guy bringing off the bench? Earlier in the season, we didn't have anybody. Now it's Victor Oladipo. But I think with the serviceability that Gabe Vincent has on offense, I mean, Gad, I know you and I both love Gabe Vincent, you much more than I do as far as being a stand for him. But Gabe has been doing, Gabe is a serviceable point guard. And I think if you maybe play with, like you said, staggering Kyle Lowry, it might work out a little bit better. Just kind of the way, LeBron or like Russell Westbrook has been staggering coming off the bench and he's been doing a little bit better. But let's get to the prize picks. Marco, I'll start with you. They have Jimmy Butler pretty high tonight. They have him at 26.5 points. How are you feeling about that one?
Man, 26.5. That's points, or is that combined points, rebounds, assists?
No, that's points.
Okay. Man, Jimmy's a troll, so I'm going to go under because you can never count on him for anything. So I'm going to go under. I saw that picture he took of the throwbacks. I'm like, this man does not take the regular season seriously, especially not a game against the Thunder in the middle of January. So I'm going to go under, but I think he's going to want to get the other guys involved. He's going to want to go Minnesota practice game on them. So I think I'm going to go with the under, but I wouldn't be surprised if he goes hard, but it would kind of stink if he had to go hard for like 40 points. But I'd love to see it. If you go for 50, go for 50, man.
Yeah, Gabe Vincent, 2.5 3-point shots made. Are you going over or under on that?
Tyler Hero's out. I'm going to go over, which sounds counterintuitive because Gabe has had a very bad and streaky shooting season. I'm going to go over. When Tyler Hero's out, for some reason, he tries to replicate Tyler Hero. And for better or for worse, we're either going to get a 2 of 10 game or we're going to get like a 5 of 10 game from Gabe from 3. So who knows?
Hey, who knows? Another person that might try to replicate Tyler Hero, and I'm not quite sure why they have him this high. Max Strus, 17.5. Marco Romo, what are you feeling about that as far as just points?
I'm pounding that under. That seems a little high for me. I think it's because all the guys are out, but I'm still going to go under. I think Max, you're talking about streaky guys. The man hasn't even gone on a streak. So maybe tonight he might hit it, but I'm going to go under because I still haven't seen enough for him to really kind of put my chips into one basket. But stinky, give me away from
over. He's going over.
He's losing you money. That's what he's saying. He's already losing himself money.
So Gad's going over, Marco's going under on that one. Awesome, guys. We're going to finish with those prize picks. Gad, let's get into predictions. What are you feeling about tonight's game? Who gets the win?
The Heat are undermanned. Midway through the season, they're one game above 500, kind of like bad vibes. I don't even know who is going to be the bench unit tonight. Like, is there a chance that we see a Haslam and Dedmon lineup?
God.
Is that a real thing in the year 2023? On
Probably.
prime time, at home. The Heat are only earlier today, they were only 4-point favorites at home against the Oklahoma City Thunder on prime time. So I don't know, man. I am not going into this game with very much confidence. I think the Heat ultimately will pull it out behind like a Jimmy triple-double and like a really big Max Strus scoring game. But I don't think it's going to be something pretty. I don't think it's going to be something that the fans are really going to enjoy the product. TNT might end up switching away from this game, even if it's close. But I don't know. This game is iffy.
I might end this game at like on Tree TV or something. I'll go ahead and stick with the Heat tonight. Again, an undermanned team. Jimmy loves those kind of games. He probably wants to get these guys going eventually. He loves gonna, that Minnesota practice again. I brought up. He wants to prove to everybody that you guys are good enough and all this. But I'm gonna go ham and lift you over the win. But I don't feel good about it. It's two mid-ass teams going against each other. So I'm gonna say Heat win by 2 points maybe, and then Deadman goes for a triple-double, whatever. I mean,
Wow.
he gets 10 fouls in like 10 minutes.
The Chris Silva special. I see
Yeah.
you. Summer League.
10 fouls, 10 minutes, 10 turnovers, 10 missed shots. All right.
10
Miami,
offensive fouls, especially 10. Like he's gonna set 10 screens that are illegal, and they're gonna keep him out there because they don't have anybody else. So they're gonna be like a technical free throw each foul.
oh God, dear God, what are we getting ourselves into? Anyways, I do think Miami is going to be able to pull it out tonight. I think the games that we always least expect them to win, those are the ones that typically they pull out, and I really don't expect them to win tonight. So maybe they pull it out, So I think that's the way it's going to go tonight. Like I said, make sure you guys like the video. Make sure you guys subscribe. Go to markbrownpa.com. Make sure he does all your financial asset planning. Use the promo code 5 for your prize picks when you go ahead and use those prize picks. And as always, let's go Heat.
Okay. Well, I guess we're true to form. Everything goes down to the last second. But let's start the questions, and I'll give you my dissertation.
Well, I guess the real concern is Bam and the hand and the
Yeah.
fact that he was not available for the.
Yeah. I don't know how he'll feel. Tomorrow. It was a really hard hand contusion in the first half. And he tried to gut it out in the second half, but you could see he was just basically playing with one hand, and it was just extremely sore. So I'd make that tough call and take the decision out of his hands in the fourth quarter. And we'll just evaluate him tomorrow. He already got X-rays, and those were clean, so thank God about that. But he's going to be sore. We'll just figure out for how long he'll be sore.
Was that exactly what you wanted to get on that final possession?
Some version of that, getting either Jimmy to an open spot up to the top, but he also had that whole wing to be able to read it. I thought he just did an amazing job of somehow getting into the paint and getting to the rim. I feel like night after night you're seeing, in this league, somebody just go absolutely nuts about a call at the end of the game and cry that was what dictated the game. So I want to be measured with my words, but I thought Jimmy just made the absolute right play. I think easily in this game alone, he could have had 6 to 8 more free throw attempts. I think the one where KD actually got hurt, I think he just got raked across his arm on that one. One in the first half, he got hit in the head. Should have been an and one. But that one, I just think, I don't think it was vertical. I don't think he was set. I think it was not the classic A to B, and I don't think he was in position. Now, I'm sure they'll say otherwise, and at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. But I think that earned the right to go to the free throw line and see if we could have won the game. I don't think we could have gotten anything better than that opportunity. Obviously, right at the rim with Jimmy. And I haven't seen the replay on that. It just did not look like it was a vertical play where he was waiting for him. I think he rotated O'Neal. And I don't know. It felt like Kyrie got something in there. But that's just really unfortunate. Our guys really played well. I really felt that we deserved to win the game just from the energy and the tenor, particularly in the second half. And they're a good team. They can flatten you out defensively. I think that's probably one of the more underrated things about what they do. I thought we made a lot of good reads, and defensively, holding an explosive offensive team. down under their average. So I think we did what we needed to do to win the game. It's just a shame that it didn't turn out to be a W for us. I'm still shocked. I thought we outplayed them in the fourth, and if you ran that last play with Irving shooting that three and that missed rebound, I think 9 out of 10 times we come up with that rebound. It was just a crazy circumstance of colliding bodies, and then O'Neal, just the ball popping up and him being right there at the rim for a putback. It's just that one's tough. I thought we had enough guys down there. I think O had a really good block out on their best offensive rebounder with Claxton, and Kyle and Watanabe just like collided. I think Kyle ended up like taking out Tyler. Watanabe took out Kyle. Vic was down there somewhere, and then all of a sudden O'Neal ended up with the ball and nobody around. That's just a crazy circumstance, and I probably felt like everybody felt in the building when Kyrie raised, even where he was at 30 feet, you just think like, oh, that's probably going to end on that. So I think we're all kind of shocked that he missed it, and it's just a shame that with the efforts there that the ball didn't bounce in our hands instead.
Coach, how is Tyler? We saw that injury
I don't
in the last
know.
moment.
There was I haven't even seen that replay. I was as surprised as anybody. He was just kind of going, not even off of a screen. I don't know what happened. He slipped on the floor. There wasn't any kind of screen over there. So if he says he's okay, but we won't know until tomorrow.
Saw even from the first few possessions, a lot of pressure from H on Durant. We saw doubles kind of spread throughout the night. Did you like
Yeah.
the way you were able to make those two guys uncomfortable for the most part?
Yeah, we really made Kyrie uncomfortable in the first half with 24 and just, he plays like, he's having a cup of coffee out there. Whatever the scheme is, he's seen it all. You can't rush him. You can't speed him up. You can't, you're not getting him sick at sea. But I loved our activity and I loved our awareness in a lot of situations. So we did a lot of the right things, and then it turned into an ISO, and then he did what he does. He made probably at least 6 or 7 just ridiculously tough shots against great defenders that you can't do it better than we did it. And he's one of the very few in this league that can shot create and make like he did tonight.
Eric, halfway through the season, I know you maybe didn't want the record to be this, but with some of the things that are happening now, it seems like you've got a rotation together, the activity, some of the combinations, the way Tyler and Vic are playing together. Do you feel comfortable going into the second half of the season with where your team is?
Yeah, I feel something that has been happening for the last 3 weeks or so. Now we have to translate that into wins, at some point. But I feel much better about our identity and how we're playing with both units. We're getting a lot more consistent play, and you can see that it's real. And then the resilience that we're building in a lot of these close games, tough games. I think that right now it's starting to bring this group together. You can't put an analytic on it. It's just when I walk in a locker room, how the locker room feels, and I'm starting to feel it, and that's something that we can definitely build on. And look, we don't have to look any further than the team over there. It was a 7-week stretch that they've really turned it on, and they went from 7-9 to all of a sudden being basically a game away from, being top of the conference. So things can happen quickly in this conference because it is so competitive and everybody is bunched up. You have to put together weeks of good basketball. I think we're starting to do that, and then the next challenge will be to do it consistently and for it to translate into wins.
What was the thought process tonight of going with Orlando as the backup big for today's game?
Yeah, and I thought he just gave us great minutes. And even when, we had to take Bam out in the fourth quarter, that could have been an emotional downer, like a real buzzkill. But had been playing really well, and when I turned to him, everybody else was like, "Yeah, let's do this." He's earned the minutes, and I think the way he was really sprinting to the rim on some of the pick and rolls, and creating a little bit of confusion really helped us generate some clean looks. And his efforts on the offensive glass, are really helpful. He had some really good big plays in the fourth quarter. Basically, everybody's on the table right now. Like we need contributions from everybody, anybody, and it might differ from game to game. It made the most sense we felt tonight with Orlando, and we'll just see where it goes from here. That's not an indictment on Dwayne at all, particularly as he's starting to feel much better. Okay, thank you.
It didn't happen during the dunk.
You didn't.
Nah. It was I don't know, in between plays after that, but this has been something that's a couple days old.
Suppose that he had to basically convince you not to keep playing. How did that conversation go?
Nah, I mean, vulnerability. I had to own up that I couldn't shoot the ball, obviously. So that's why I was like, "Yo, coach, like, I'm cool with it." So I mean, it was an easy decision on both ends.
Does it require MRI and anything like that?
No, I mean, we're just gonna go get it checked out to make sure.
You missed extended time last year with the right thumb. How concerned are you? That's my
No, it's not this. It's not like how that was. I know I was gonna miss time for this. This is day to day. Call it how I see it, day to day. Just get a lot of treatment.
Is it just like a play through the pain kind of thing? Is it like a pain tolerance thing?
Yeah, I mean, when it becomes low on tolerance, I'll be better. But when it's excruciating how it was during the game, I feel like some of y'all would have went to the ER. But it's one of those things you built for it.
Pain is one thing, but can you catch a ball? I mean,
Right now?
yeah, I mean, not right now, no.
Nah.
I mean, how much does it affect? Is it just everything, or is it?
I mean, I couldn't make free throws, obviously. So it definitely affected my mobility, but we'll bounce back.
Bam, as far as you guys are concerned, halfway part of the season, a close loss. How do you, feel like you guys, the place that you're at, and you got a lot of tough games coming up against some of the tops in the East?
I mean, we just let one slip against one of the top in the East. So, I mean, we got faith in our team. As you can see, I feel like we can compete with anybody. It's just one of those things. We just, we're right there. And, we need to turn that switch on so we can get over these humps.
Bam, you're 21-20 at the midpoint of the season, but lately you look better than a 21-20 team. Do you feel there's a takeoff point for you guys over the second half of the season?
Our record is what it is. I do feel like we're getting to that point where it's more winning streaks than losing streaks, and we just, I feel like everybody's getting to a point where like everybody knows where they're supposed to be. Not a lot of guys are missing games because of injury. So we're getting that connected group, that rotation again. So I feel like once we get fully healthy, the rotation to be normal, and we can get to the point where we start, instead of being in these close games, it'd be 7 to 10 point leads, and we walk out with a win.
Thank you.
You guys get to the midway point at 21-20. Did you feel like things were trending in a positive direction?
I think so. We didn't win this game, but I really like the way that we played as a unit. I don't like seeing any of my guys nicked up or hurt, that being Bam. And obviously he's been carrying a lot of the load on both sides of the ball for us right now. So, I hope that he's okay. But we still got to figure out ways to win games at the end of the day. And I think we can. I hope that this is the one that flips that switch and it's like it's go time.
The Nets were struggling earlier this season, and then the last 6-7 weeks they've gotten on a run.
Mm-hmm.
So is it the energy that you like right now? Is it the connection between the players? It does seem a little bit different over the past couple of weeks.
You talking on offside?
Yeah, on your
Oh,
side.
yeah. No, we good. We enjoy being around one another. And I know that we're going to figure it out. It's only a matter of time. But this is a step in the right direction. Even though we did not win this game, I think we can learn from it, and we will be better coming back, moving forward. It's a new year. We getting guys back healthy. We're gonna be straight.
What have you liked about what Orlando's giving you guys off the bench?
He just does what you ask him to do. He don't complain. He don't say too much. You tell him to set a screen and roll. You tell him to set a screen and pop. You tell him to shoot a three, crash the boards. He's a pro's pro, and he's learning at a very fast rate. I'm happy for him, and he's proven that he can play in this league.
Jimmy, there were a couple early possessions that were a little ugly offensively with their switching. What did you guys figure out after that first 6-minute stretch?
Just attack. Don't be passive, whether it be passing up an open shot or getting into the paint and not shooting a layup. Just attack, get into that paint, shoot a layup, floater, get it out to your shooters. Once we start playing like that, it looked a lot better.
Jimmy, Vic being integrated more into the rotation, getting heavier minutes now. Now you're having you, Kyle, Vic, Tyler, Bam, who can all initiate. Where's the comfort level with that?
I think everybody's comfortable out there. I think everybody knows where the ball has to go. Everybody is sharing the ball. Everybody's making shots as well, which also helps. But even more than that, with Vic out there, you can play all types of defenses. You can switch, you can play zone, you can show, you can trap, and he can get to wherever you want him to get to. I think that's the biggest thing that he brings. And then when he's making shots and he's attacking, that's the Vic that we all want to see. We want to see him scoring points in bunches, and he's going to continue to do it because we need him to continue to do it.
Jimmy, how do you guys not get down too much after having so many close games this season?
That's just part of the game. That's the world that we live in, knowing that this is practice for where we want to be at. When I say that, I mean the playoffs. I mean on the run to a championship. Games are going to come down to this. Let's get them out the way now of figuring out how to win and figuring out what to do, because later on in this season, we're going to have to win those games.
And even though every year's not the same year, these upcoming games against a lot of the teams that are top in the East, do you feel that that's good for you guys, that to see maybe where you guys really are at?
Yeah. We better bring it, whether it be home or away. We got to figure out a way to win. Doesn't matter if we're playing a 500 team, below 500 team, or one of the tops in the East or West. We must win these games coming up.
Jimmy, going back to what you said before, what was it about what you saw from your guys tonight that makes you think that this could be maybe a taking off point for the rest of the year?
They're my guys, so I know where their heart is. I know that they want to win. This game didn't show me too much. The season has the preparation that they've put in over this entire year, over this entire summer. I know where their heart is. I know that they want to win. I know they're going to help us win.
Thank you, Jimmy.
Mm-hmm.
Even though it ended in a loss, how did you feel like you guys were able to compete tonight?
I thought we played well. We competed. I thought at the beginning, their switches kind of took us out of our offense a little bit, but I thought once we settled down, we were able to make the right read to get the shots we wanted. We got defensive stops. We played an overall good game. They made the last play to win the game, but I think if the game keeps going, it kept going back and forth. So.
It seemed like the energy levels are pretty high there. Did you guys have a different approach because of the level of competition?
Yeah, I think anytime you have a higher respect for your opponent, it brings more out of you and your team. But obviously that can't be our mindset when we play a good team. We got to come out and play. Obviously, it's got to be somewhat of the same mindset every night. But I thought, like you said, we played hard. There was a energy and physicality to us.
Charlie, you're 21-20 at the mid-season, the seasons before the season, so you could say you're sort of in the middle. But do you feel it's trending towards somewhere different than 21 and 20?
Yeah, we've been feeling like that, for a while. There's been games where we've lost that we felt like we could have won. But at this point, I feel like things are going in the right direction. You got to stay healthy and continue to make things go in that direction. Sorry. That's what competition is. We would like to win by more than our being games that aren't close. But I think at the end of the day, these situations help us for the long run, being in the playoffs and stuff like that. Being in close games is a positive. If you look at it as a positive, like I said, to be able to play in close games and get those experiences early on so early on in the season is big for us.
Tyler, it looks like the comfort level with you and Vic on the court has come a long way since last season. Where's that connection to you as you're playing together?
It's high. I think, I tell him when I'm playing off the ball, it helps me a lot, when he's in the game. Just because they're so focused on me, when Vic comes in, it gives another threat who can shoot, attack, and do really everything offensively. And they have to worry about him, and he looks for me in transition, and I tell him to be aggressive, as much as possible.
Argue a guy's had so many bodies in there, and all of a sudden it scored three to one of their guys.
Yeah, it's been like that. A couple of bad breaks this season. We've had a couple of those, but we just got to continue to find ways to close the games out. We had a couple opportunities down the stretch, and we missed some shots, and we gave up some looks. But it felt like we had bodies everywhere. Everybody boxed out. Ball bounced right to Royce, and he made a shot.
You guys are 21-20 midpoint of the season, which would be an average record, be marginal, mediocre, and all that, but you seem to be trending differently. Should we read something more positive into where this might be headed than where the record stands right now?
I think we've been playing better. I think we're kind of understanding what we need to do to win games. I think it's just we get a couple bad bounces here and there, but we got to just continue to get better. Both ends of the floor, defensively, offensively, we got to just continue to get better. And halfway point of the season, now we got to find a way to kind of string some wins together and just try to continue to build.
How do you deal with kind of just taking the good and going forward with that, not letting the bad bounces affect you guys too much?
You got to do it. You got to take some positives from it. We're finding ways to hold teams under their average. Honestly, defensively, we're playing really good. Offensively, we got to continue to try to get more shots up, more shots on goals and just continue to build and work our habits.
Well, a guy like Orlando comes off the bench, you see his growth and role. How much do you take into that of just trying to get a young guy comfortable right off?
I think he's been just listening and doing everything coaches and players have been asking him to do. It's very encouraging for a guy like that. He just finding a way to just be effective, and that's what you want from a young guy. Just find a way to be effective on the floor.
And that last play you guys set up for Jimmy, how did you think that all unfolded for you guys?
Got a great look, missed a shot. Honestly, that's it. Basketball didn't bounce in the hole. Thank you.